You're now tuned into Radical Radio with Coach L.
Switch my attitude. I'm so radical. 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 I'm so radical.
Radical Radio is designed to get to the heart of our guest stories. Oftentimes you see people moving and they make it look so easy. Many don't know the story behind the journey, the heartache, the disappointment, the wins, or even the loss. What has it cost you? We are removing the stigma of judging a book by its cover and gaining perspective from our guests in the most radical way, in their own words. Testimonies are meant to be shared to help others move forward. That's the radical way, y'all. Let's go. You can't heal what's hidden, and you can't break chains you don't acknowledge. The word says the truth shall set you free. Be true to yourself and allow the plan that God has had for your life to live. That's radical, living unapologetically bold and purposely authentic. Stay tuned for the radical coaching moment of the day. Y'all, I was trying to tell y'all, stay tuned for the radical coaching moment of the day. However, we got cut off. So what's good, y'all? This is your girl, Coach L. Y'all already know what it is. It is a Monday, a little after 8 today, but nevertheless, Radical Radio is in the building. Thank you guys for joining. Again, this is your girl, Coach L. I am your visionary of Radical Life, the brand that encourages you to be radical and live in your God-given favor every single day. Radical Life houses Radical Life Coaching, Radical Eyewear, and of course, this dope platform, Radical Radio. So I want to thank you guys for joining. I do have a very special guest that decided to pop in on us. I have opened the platform where my brother can come on whenever he feels like it, whenever he needs to share something. He has an open door at Radical Radio, so we'll get into that in a moment. But for the radical coaching moment of the day, y'all, it is okay to be different. You do not need a title. It is okay to stand in who you know that you are called to be. We have to get away from the fact of understanding that titles don't really mean nothing if you're not walking in excellence, if you're not moving in excellence, if you don't have purpose in whatever it is that you're doing. Your title means absolutely nothing. If there is no passion behind the title that you hold, what good is the title? I am that chick that I don't need a title. Do I have titles? Absolutely. I have many of them, but I'm so much more than my title, right? I am so much more than my title. So this morning, as I was just thinking about, the different, ways of how different I am, I love to embrace my uniqueness. I love to embrace the fact that I am 100% confident in who I am right now. Now, I want to give this disclaimer. Was I always? Absolutely not. There was times where I would put myself in a box to appease other people. There were times where I would dummy myself down to make other people's lights shine brighter. I am in a place in my life that I no longer will ever dim my light to make someone else feel comfortable. I will no longer dim my light to make somebody else feel worthy, anything like that. Like, let me tell you, Coach L is going to be who she is, wherever she is. You're going to see the same person. Okay. And I wanted to touch on this because you know what you possess. I know what I possess. And the reason I say this is because I do not have a master's degree. I do not have a doctorate degree from a university. but I have a master's and a PhD in this thing that they call life, because I use life as my experience. I decided, to take hold of my life and learn from experiences that I had gone through. So it's very easy for you to do things when you have the Holy Spirit guiding you and you have the Spirit guiding you on your natural original intent that you were created. When you are moving in the original intent that God created you for, let me tell you, you will start doing stuff that would knock your socks off. Like, you won't even believe that you have this gift. You won't even believe the power that you possess. And I'm going to give y'all an example. I am a certified spiritual life coach, right? I coach young adults ages 17 to 24. And it never ceases to amaze me. And I believe that this is God's way of really showing me that you are doing this, but it never ceases to amaze me when I have like trainings from, psychologists and professionals and people that have these doctorate degrees as psychologists. It amazes me that I run my life coaching business in the way that people are running their practices. And I didn't get any teaching from this. It's no different than radical radio. I didn't go to media school. I wasn't taught to have a radio show. Like, I didn't get any training for this. Like, God has gifted me certain gifts and talents, and it's to the point now where I have embraced them. I didn't always embrace my gifts and talents. I was on the outside looking in, thinking that I needed to fit in and I needed to be with the cool kids and I needed to be, in this box. But in all actuality, had I known what I know now, I'd be a lot further than what I am today. But I am thankful for where I am because now I know the gift. I don't have to dummy myself down or feel less than because I didn't go to a university. God has blessed me to show me how to move and how to operate in my purpose. So listen, it's okay if you're different. It's okay if you don't do what other people do. You have to stand firm and you have to be in your own lane and you have to learn to be okay with that. A lot of our young ladies today are suffering from identity crisis. Like, there are some young ladies out here that want to be good, want to go to school, want to do what the teachers are telling them to do, want to get good grades because they know that they're smart and they can do it. But guess what? They are looking at people and other peers of theirs that are not doing the right thing. And they're automatically assuming that, man, it's cool not to do the right thing. It's cool to act crazy in school. It's cool to be trying to get all the boys' attention. No, that's not cool. And that's not the original intent that God has for your life. And I would hate for them to have to go through life experiences, traumatic life experiences, for them to one day have to share their testimony to get it like Coach L. Okay. So my job here is to share, because I want young ladies to understand that it's okay to be lame. It is okay to be lame. It is okay to be different. It is okay to not want to dress like everybody else. It is okay to have whatever color hair you want to have and rock the way you want to rock, because God created you to be different. He did not create any of us the same. There's none of my sisters, none of my cousins, nobody that's attached to me are we the same. We're all different. We all have different gifts and talents. So it's important that we pour into our young girls and let them know that it is okay to be who you want to be and not have to transform to other people. So that took me to Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Let me tell y'all something. When my mind shifted, I turned into a different person. When I woke up, because there's a lot of people out here that saying they woke, but they still sleep. And it's no judgment. I'm not judging because I was asleep too. But I feel as if at this point in my life, I have really started to wake up and I have really started to understand what's really going on out in this world. It's a lot of pimpery. Okay. People are being pimped and they don't even know that they're being pimped because they're not being who they were called to be. They're trying to fit in with everybody else and trying to do what everybody else is doing. No, That's not the way to go. Your purpose is identified solely for you. God had a plan solely for you that nobody else has access to. It's only you. That's it. So it also says, let me read this again. So it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Discernment is that little, ache in your belly, that little it's that reminder when you get uneasy and you uncomfortable places and you really don't want to be there, and something in you is saying like, I really don't want to be here, or I really don't belong here. It is saying that you will be tested so that you can take heed to the discernment and understand that, okay, I don't belong here. Because see, there'll be people in places where you don't belong that will look at you and say, why are you here? You don't even belong here. So we have to be mindful. And that also takes me to Jeremiah 1:5, where it says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I sanctified you and I ordained you a prophet to the nations. You've already been called a prophet. You've already been called to the nation. So therefore, it don't matter what kind of title you got. It don't matter if you didn't get the certification and ordained, certification that, people want to have to say you a minister, or, the plaque saying that you're, a platinum artist, or the college degree diploma that you show. Even if you don't have that, understand that this scripture right here says that you have already been sanctified and you have already been ordained. So stop letting people tell you anything other than what God is telling you. Stop. If they can argue with you about who you ain't, tell them to go and find out who God says you are. Real talk. It's time for us to understand who we are and move in the areas that we are called to move in, and be unapologetic about it. If you are operating in your purpose, be unapologetic about operating in your purpose. You don't owe nobody no excuse. You don't owe nobody no understanding. No, lean not to your own understanding. All right. So that is the radical cultural moment of the day. I probably went on a little tangent, but it's just real out here in the field. So I just want everybody to understand, operate in purpose, move in excellence, and yeah, we're gonna rock out. So with that being said, I have the executive director of the North Chicago think tank, Mr. William Coleman, in the building. So we're gonna go ahead and bring him on.
What's up, y'all?
And I call him Billy because this is my brother. I can call him Billy. Y'all call him William. When y'all see him, I'll call him William. Okay? No. But Billy, go ahead and tell the people again, because Billy has been here quite a few times. So if y'all don't know what the North Chicago think tank is, I need y'all to get in tune, because this brother is moving, shaking, and doing a lot of things around the community, and really, really putting some things in perspective to light some fires. So Billy, go ahead and tell them about what the North Chicago Think Tank is.
So the North Chicago Think Tank is a nonprofit organization aimed at improving the lives of citizens of North Chicago. That's our mission. And we work together to look at what's going on in our community, look at if we have quality food, if we have quality education, if we have quality housing, if we have quality healthcare. If we see a resource that can help us improve our quality of life, we try to highlight it. But if there's a solution that needs to be created, we work with people to create that solution and provide it to the people of North Chicago.
Awesome, awesome. Now, when we say think tank, what is a think tank exactly?
Simply put, is when a gang of smart people come together and think their way to a solution. That's really what it's about. And it's about empowering the people of North Chicago and saying, you are inherently smart. You don't need nobody to come in and save you. The Black community has been plagued by programs for a long time, and we've been turned into infants where we feel like we got to be dependent on a program or in a system in order for us to make our way. And I just don't subscribe to that. I know that, sometimes you need help, but help is different than being in a system.
Absolutely.
Help is assistance that doesn't, you can help your child learn to walk, but that don't mean you're disabling the child.
Right.
And we need to learn to know the difference. And the think tank is really about coming out and saying, do you know you're smart? How do you think critically? Okay, so if you can do that, then what do we need to do once we get access to resources to create the lives for ourselves that are of a high caliber of quality?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Now, what I do want to ask you, I know this, we're talking a lot about Lake County, which is our county. We're in Waukegan, Illinois, North Chicago, Illinois, and Zion, Illinois.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk about our people and how our people need to get to the point of not only just in Lake County, but all over the world, how our people can benefit from creating a think tank and making positive changes in their community. Like, why is that so important in this day?
It's so important in this day because there's so many people out there that not only profit from, but benefit generationally from telling you about yourself and saying, I know what you need better than you know what you need. And that's really dangerous. That happens to us a lot, whether we know it or not. And that's why, you know, we appreciate outlets like Radical Radio that allow you to say, you can think differently. You can look at the entire world and say, none of that fits for me, and I need to create my own path. It's been historically done. That's a part of colonization, is when you take a group of people and you say, the way you've been doing things or the way that brain is working is inherently wrong. And I'm the authority and I'm going to tell you what's correct. And you have to mind what I say. I'm going to grade you on what I say. And then you got to perform the way I'm telling you to perform. And only then will you be proper or correct. And we really need to reverse that. You really got to get in that brain and say, what is my conscience saying? What is the difference between my brain and my mind? What am I putting in? And then what is my vision saying? And then how am I bringing that vision from within to the physical realm where we are?
That's good. That's real good. And this is, you know, we come to you guys just to empower you, you know, to empower you to understand that there is a different way. There's a different way to move. There is a different way to secure. And as we were on our way here, we were talking about leaving legacies. And, you know, it took me to work in corporate America for, you know, majority of my life, for me to really understand like how I was being used. It took for me to work for other people and to build legacies for them and their family while my children were at home, because I was a single mother and they were struggling and they were taking care of themselves. Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't, you know, for working, I didn't have the resources to go and have someone care for my children while I went to work. Like, my children literally had to be latchkey kids and take care of themselves because they put you in the mindset that like you need this job. And to the point where I used to tell my children, like, don't call me at work, because I can't leave work. I can't leave work to come and handle anything. So make sure you do what you're supposed to do, because I can't leave work, because I would be at jeopardy of losing my job if I leave work too many times to take care of my children. So as I began to like really process those things, that's when I understood how important it was to become an entrepreneur and work for myself and understand that, you know, being consistent and working for my own brand and my own business would eventually lead to generational inheritance for legacies to come.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what women need. Okay, because that's the topic. The topic this evening is what women need to know. There is a free health clinic here in Lake County, unbeknownst to me and you, we did not know about.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, first and foremost, how did this come about that there was a free, and y'all hear me, let me get in, free health clinic right here in the Tri-County area that we did not know about.
Yeah.
And that we're going to actually be here today to educate you about this resource in our own community, in our backyard.
Yeah. So, I want to say when we talk about what women need to know, this isn't an opportunity for me to mansplain. I want everybody to know that.
Please.
That North Chicago Think Tank is not out here sending Billy to talk for women. That's not what we're saying.
No.
But what we are saying is that women need quality health care. We know that. That's a fact. And we also know that Black women are in dire need of quality health care because of the historical impact that the for-profit white supremacy focused medical community has had on them.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about needs, right, and we talk about funding and we talk about resources, the way it's all put together is they send out resources based on a need. So if Black women aren't saying what they need, the resources literally don't come.
Gotcha.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're seeing in Lake County and you're seeing in North Chicago, Waukegan, Zion, I want to really pull it tight, that you're seeing like, oh man, the Latinx community is getting this attention, or this group is getting this attention, or the LGBTQ plus is getting this attention. It's because they're establishing a need. They're saying. And so what we want is for Black women to say what you want and say what you need, right? And so the North Chicago Think Tank has a big goal. Our goal number 5 is that we want a wing of Rosalind Franklin University School of Medicine and Science dedicated to the development of resources for Black women's mental and physical health. Ooh. That's one of our long-term goals, and we are not letting up on that. That's going to take some time, but we want to keep putting pressure on Rosalind Franklin, which is technically inside North Chicago.
Yes, it is.
It's a prestigious medical school, and we want to be able to say that Black women are the study of Black women is the backbone of medicine and science. And so we want to say you owe Black women that. And all we asking for is for a wing that's just specifically dedicated to them.
Yes.
Because they need these services. So from that, I started to engage with Rosalind Franklin, and I learned about the ICC, which is a clinic that provides behavioral health services, primary care, podiatry, and physical therapy. Yes. And I was like, oh man, like that's great that clinic is there, but it must cost. And they were like, it's free. And I'm like, oh, it must be with certain type of insurance. It was like, it doesn't require insurance. And I was like, somebody got to be lying. Like somebody has got to be lying when you're telling me that this clinic has been in North Chicago, right up the street on Green Bay Road all this time. And they're like, it's just literally been here. And they've done outreach. They've talked to leaders and told them about it. And it's just never gotten to us. Right. And so what we're trying to do is just scream it from the mountaintop. There's also something called a mobile distribution of health services. That's when doctors literally get in a little buggy and they come out to the community and they pull up to whatever corner you at and they do health assessments. They give access to vaccinations. They give access to whatever. There's care coaches in North Chicago, Waukegan, and Zion. And I've started to talk to them and they like, hey, we was at this corner last week or we was at that corner last week. And I'm like, well, y'all need to come to this corner. So we're starting to put all that stuff together. But again, this isn't us trying to repeat that same pattern of telling Black women what they want. We really want to have this opportunity and this conversation so that y'all can talk to us and say, okay, y'all offering behavioral health services. That's where we're starting, right? We really want to talk about the mental health of Black women.
Yes.
We're not saying that that's what you guys want. This is just our assumption based on what's happening in the world. Always feel free to follow the North Chicago Think Tank on Facebook or hit us at northchicagothinktank.org and say, this is actually what I want as a Black woman, as a Black man, as a Black child. You can always tell us that and we'll always listen. But we know that this last year has been very difficult on a lot of people. We have gone through a pandemic. We have been in quarantine. And, parents are really feeling it, especially single parents, especially Black women who are working on the front lines and caring for children. So we really said we want to make sure that Black women in North Chicago, Waukegan, and Zion specifically know that behavioral health services are available through the ICC. Meaning, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling like you don't have no one to talk to, if you are struggling with weight loss, if you're struggling with anything and you're like, I don't have nobody, so I just got to gulp it down. Yeah. That can lead to various, very serious repercussions for you. And we really want you to know that you do have an option. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll see that we started to produce posters that talk about behavioral health and start to just say, please reach out. Look at the times that it's available, set up an appointment just to talk to somebody.
And let's be clear, y'all, social media can't give you the help that you need, right?
No.
So oftentimes I see my sisters like just going on rants on social media because they have had it, right? Also, one of my biggest goals is to help single mothers that have raised their children and tried to do the best that they knew how to do in raising their children, and also run into their children making some not so great choices. I really want to encourage mothers to understand that you don't have to beat yourself up because your children are not making great choices and good choices, or they're getting in trouble. That causes a lot of stress to our mothers, our single mothers. They're concerned about their children. They're feeling like they failed their children, but it causes a lot of anxiety. It causes depression. All those things are things that you can get assistance from the ICC. It's so much more that we go through, going through workplace abuse, going through, just so many other areas, just I can't list them all. I've been a single mom. I've raised my children by myself. And, there's been times where I just felt like nobody cares about me. As women, we care for everybody else. We always make sure that everybody else is good. But are we truly making sure that we're good? And what I mean by good, I'm talking about internally.
And can I add to that?
Yes.
This is about, when we use terms like, are you good? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Those are terms that cannot be measured, right? And we have to start looking at things from a scientific measured perspective. And you ask somebody, can I have a gallon of milk? That is an exact measurement, and they will give you that gallon of milk and you will be satisfied. It is a detriment to you to keep using terms about your own health that cannot be measured. How are you feeling today? I'm okay. Right. Yep. I'm making it. That's not good enough because you could be hurting.
Yes.
Really. So, I want to look at this conversation and ask, something very measured. Do Black women in North Chicago and Waukegan and Zion feel safe? Do Black women in North Chicago, Waukegan, and Zion feel listened to? Do Black women in North Chicago, Waukegan, and Zion feel believed? Do Black women in North Chicago, Waukegan, and Zion feel protected? And I want you to ask these questions, and then I'm going to start paring it down to say, okay, how many women are in North Chicago? I'm looking at the census. It says 3,926 women of African American descent are in North Chicago. And of those, there are 480 young ladies that are 20 to 24. So then if I ask myself, of those 480 women that are 20 to 24, how many of them feel safe?
Right.
How many of them feel listened to? How many of them feel believed? How many of them feel protected? Who are our women? Who are our girls? Outside of their sexuality, outside of their motherhood, what do they want?
Yes.
What do they need? What is the legacy of women? What is your culture? We want you to be assertive with your requests and be specific. And you have to realize why that feels so weird if it's not normal to you. Right. It should be normal to you. We use a lot of terms like, oh, I'm a queen, or I'm a king, I'm a queen, I'm a princess. Yep. Do you know what it's like to be a queen?
Yes.
Or a princess? That means you are taken care of royally. And that means specifically.
Yes.
And so we have to ask ourselves and our women, what do you need specifically? And do you feel comfortable to talk about it? Because if you don't feel comfortable to talk about it, something's wrong. And that's why we else about whether I truly feel safe, truly feel listened to, believed, protected, healthy. then you can call the ICC and they can talk to you about it.
That part.
Now there's a lot of stigma wrapped around that, right?
Yes.
So
definitely.
Do we want to? I really hope that people would chat and tell us or participate. And
y'all
say,
come on and let's have this discussion. If there's any women on this live, go ahead and share the live for me, please, and make sure you tag your sisters, your friends, your cousins, all of that. Tag everybody so that way we can get some dialogue going. Yeah, there is a lot of stigmas in that. Even, people don't understand, like, we have a lot of women out here. The question that Billy is raising, do you feel protected? I'll say for me, in a lot of ways, no. Why? Because I feel like, our men are endangered species. They getting shot down in the streets, and that could be my brother, that could be my father, that could be my cousin, and those are the men in my life that, when I need to feel protected, or when I need something, those are the people that I want to call on. When my husband, is not available, I still need to be able to be protected by the men in my community. Not that it necessarily has to be somebody in my family that I'm blood related to. When are we going to get back to the basics of making sure that our neighbors are okay? Making sure that, we are protected. So no, a lot of times I do not feel protected. And there's many things that go into that. Women, we don't have it, well, I can't say that. Please don't take this the wrong way, but just as a Black man is being pulled over by the police, and there's anxiety and there's fear and there's, feelings running through his veins, we as Black women feel the same. Like I was stopped not too long ago. It was a while ago, but it was in the morning. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I was going to pick up my boys from Abbott when they were working at Abbott. And the fact that I had never been so scared in all of my life for a police officer to pull me over, and the fact that it was in the middle of the morning, I was nervous. And most times I'm not that nervous, but it was in light of all the things that have occurred recently that I was like, whoa, I ain't never felt this feeling before.
Mm. And so my question would be very blatantly, that was traumatic.
Yeah.
Where did you put that trauma?
That's the whole thing. For me, I'm able to really vocalize how I feel at this point of my life. But before, it would just sit on me. It would just sit on me, and then it would build on me. And that's why way back when I was just an angry bird, as I call myself. I was just angry and feisty, and would, want to fight and want to yell at you and cuss at you and do all this stuff, because my anger was all sitting right here. I had nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
I didn't know, what I could do with that.
So my question is, if you needed a specific task done, if you needed your engine replaced in your car, would you let just anybody do it?
Absolutely not.
If you needed your roof done, would you let just anybody do it?
Absolutely not.
If you needed your foot worked on, would you let just anybody do it?
No, sir.
But for some reason, we let random people give us advice and follow the words of random people on the internet, or
Facts.
About our minds.
Facts.
About our brain. And we cannot keep going in this way. I know that there is a lot of historical damage for the relationship between Black women and the medical community, and it is valid.
Yes.
But we cannot keep going in this way where we're just letting any and everybody give us advice or give us plans of action for managing trauma that is so serious, like that belongs to the Black people, specifically the Black woman. We can't keep going like that. And what we're saying at the North Chicago Think Tank is start somewhere close. Start at the ICC. Start with behavioral health, but start with a specific request.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you need? If you're saying, my boyfriend is irritating me or my husband is irritating me. And I feel like I need to talk to somebody that will just understand. When you talk about behavioral health services, that's someone who is not biased,
right?
Who just gonna be there for you to talk about it. But if you like, well, I just want to talk to my girl about it. I get that, but your girl is not an expert.
Absolutely.
You have to start leaning on the people who can be held accountable for the expertise for these very important issues. Some of us are dealing with OCD.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are dealing with extreme amounts of anxiety. Some of us are dealing with PTSD. A lot of us are dealing with things that are organic that we have inherited from our parents.
Absolutely.
That you should be really dealing with. And if you're not dealing with that, that trauma is just coming back in and you just living it and breathing it. And whether you know it or not, you passing it.
Yes.
And so what we're doing, these women who are holding us all together, the Black women are holding us all together, but they can only hold us with hands that are dripping with trauma. So that's hitting everybody, right? And so what we said at the North Chicago think tank is, where do we want to start? If we want to talk about community health, where do we want to start? And we said we got to start with the people that's holding us together, and that's the Black women. So I'm going to ask again, what do you want? Like, what kind of needs assessment do you want to take? Because we know we also real protective of our information. We don't want nobody
in our business.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, because I know we had a small conversation about this, but I'm gonna bring it to the forefront here. For me, we talked about vaccination.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I disclosed to my brother that, I nope, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go the route of being vaccinated as of yet. Like I stand firm in that at this particular time, I do not feel comfortable with getting vaccinated. And in lieu of those that don't feel comfortable, right? We talked about how do we still assist our sisters if they are in that place where they don't want to be vaccinated.
Right. And that's important. Your health is not hinged on a vaccination.
Right.
Right. And I know that's where the for-profit scientific community is headed. But it's only until you say, no, don't bring that to me. Bring me holistic health options. Bring me healthy food options. So in North Chicago, we a food desert. Right? Why ain't nobody asking for healthy food?
Yes.
We have to start saying, do I even feel empowered enough to say I deserve better?
Yes.
And I'm going to say it's tough for me to know because we're not filling out any kind of needs assessment. We're not saying, you mean to tell me that you could live through poverty, a pandemic, and police brutality at the same time, and it ain't nothing impacting you that you don't want to talk to nobody about? To me, that's a next level of strength that I just personally don't have. You go through a year of quarantine, you got the kids in the house, you got relationship issues, and you got your own historical things going on, and you telling me you don't need no help? We really have to start talking about that.
But that's the culture that we're here to disband. Like that's the culture mindset that we're here to say no more. Like I have made it a point. There is no more sweeping anything under the rug concerning anything that has to do with me and anybody that I'm connected to. Like there are things that we must deal with. And right now I feel like sometimes it's hard for people to verbalize. We need help learning how to verbalize what it is that we need, because what we're doing is we're asking a straight up question. What is it that us as Black women want? And it's almost like a shock because nobody ever asks what you want. And when they do ask what you want, you have no clue as to how to vocalize what it is that you're going through and what you've experienced to say, this is what I need.
And I'm gonna be honest, in most cases, a lot of the Black women around me are mothers. Anytime I ask them what they want, they say what their kids need. It's a very, and it's beautiful.
Yes.
I love it. It's a very maternal reaction to say, well, don't worry about what I want,
Right.
but give me something that my babies need and I'll give it to them. And I really appreciate that. But I, again, implore and ask my Black women to say, if your leg is broken and somebody says, what do you need? You need medical attention.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing, even if your child next to you, you know, when you're on a plane, they tell you before you put that air mask on your baby, you put it on yourself first. And it's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make sure that Black women in North Chicago are safe, listened to, believed, and protected.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with their mental space, making sure they're okay. A lot of times we turn to the entertainment industry to help us with things that's not their place. You know what I mean? Like, I really love these roundtable discussions or even podcasts like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a medical professional. And it's really dangerous for people to be telling you things and giving you advice from a medical professional perspective.
Mm-hmm.
They should be directing you to the people who have studied this.
Yes.
And the people who will be held accountable for what they say to you.
Yes. Because there's a lot of, and this is one of the, like, I love the fact that I know when to pass the torch as a coach, as a certified spiritual life coach. I am not a doctor. So when you come to me for coaching, you have to be in a space where you have already done the work and the healing with a licensed therapist, right? Because I'm not a licensed therapist. So there's things that a licensed therapist can give you that me as a coach, I cannot give you. And that's the power that, you know, if you are a coach that has integrity, that's the power of being able to say, hey, you know, I do want to recommend you to a licensed therapist. If you need assistance, you know, in your search for one, I would be more than willing to help you. But so many of us, and this is again a culture thing that we have to stop. So many of us are so quick to want the money, which makes us no different than the medical entity that is taking the money from us and diagnosing us and filling us with, you know, medications that we can battle from holistic approaches or changing our diet. So that's one thing that I've noticed, you know, in the coaching realm. You can't be trying to chase a bag and still hurting your people. You got to be able to understand that there's power in you saying, okay, this is not my lane. I'm going to pass this over to a professional. Yes, I am a professional in my own lane as a coach, but I also know that there are licensed doctors and therapists that can help my brothers and my sisters. And then they can come back to me when they're all healed up and ready for me to push.
And it's perfectly okay to say, I have some parameters for trust.
Absolutely.
So if you say, okay, you know, North Chicago Think Tank is saying, you know, I need, you know, I could talk to somebody about my mental health. I need the person to be Black. I need the person to be a Black woman. I need the person to not prescribe no medication. I need whatever you want and whatever you need. You have to know as a Black woman, a Latino woman, a Latinx woman, excuse me, any woman, you can say what you want and you can say what you need, and your environment is supposed to respond to you. That's the norm.
That's normal.
That's what's normal. What we're used to is women being dominated and women being raped and women being mistreated. That's not normal, but it's just becoming the norm. And you have to switch your mindset to say, what does it take for me to listen to somebody? Do they have to be a Black woman? Because we listen, you know, we listen to Black women. Do they have to have a certain background? It's okay to say that. There's so many different types of psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health professionals out there. Ask. And guess what? If you do a session for free with no insurance with the ICC and you say, that wasn't for me, at least you can say,
Yes.
I accessed the resource. I didn't like that resource for me. I'm just gonna move around.
Absolutely. And that's the joy of it all. Like, I've been in therapy. So if a therapist doesn't work for me, guess what, boo? You just don't work for me. But that doesn't mean that that's where my journey ends. There is a therapist out there. There is doctors out there for everybody. It's just like your regular primary doctor. Like, you have the ability to look and search for what it is that you're looking for. Like, you don't have to just take a doctor because they around the corner from your house.
Yeah.
Like, if you want an African American doctor, then you seek an African American doctor. For me personally, like, I like young doctors. I like doctors that are fresh, and are in line with the new technology. That's what I look for. I want that. I go get that. Like, we have to get to that point. I want to empower my sisters to get to that point that you are able and capable of going to get whatever it is that you want.
Yes. And I'll piggyback off that. There's so many things that you're required to do, right? So if somebody said they put a raw chicken in front of you and they say cut it up, and then they give you a spoon, are you going to be able to cut that chicken effectively?
No.
Not a chance.
Nope.
If somebody tells you to build a chicken shack and they give you a pair of scissors, no nails, no hammer, no nothing, are you going to be able to build that chicken shack?
Absolutely not.
You might put something together. You beat your hands bloody trying to do it, but it's not going to be as good as it could be if you use the proper tools.
Yeah.
In therapy, you are given access to tools that help you do what you need to do on a daily basis that could include traumatic experiences. You are having traumatic experiences.
Absolutely.
You might not want to call them that, but trust me, you are having traumatic experiences, and you need the proper tools to deal with yourself, to deal with your family, to deal with your workmates, to deal with your friends, to deal with all the stuff that's going on around you. And we really want you to get in the habit of saying, do I have the tools for this? Because if I don't have the tools for this, then we got to change up the expectations.
Absolutely.
Don't ask me to do things that are so taxing and so draining on my mind and my body unless I have my tools.
Right.
And we're saying you can get tools like that from Behavioral Health Services, from the ICC, for free, without insurance.
And listen, y'all, it's not, let me read. Angela says, greatest lesson Jesus ever gave us is to know when to leave, when to stop teaching. That part. She says it's okay to be selective in our care. Absolutely. Yes. I 100% agree with that. It's very important for you to be the one to choose who is taking care of you.
Yes.
Because you want somebody that is going to take your thoughts and your decisions into consideration, not just, make up, their own minds for you. You want to be able to make up your own mind and be able to tell them what it is that you need. So with that being said too, the ICC, listen, podiatry, if you got problems with your feet, okay, they are giving out free service.
Physical
therapy. A lot of us get in situations where we hurt ourselves and we don't go to physical therapy for whatever reason. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. When my son got shot, like, he needed physical therapy, and at the time that he got shot, he did not have insurance. I wish I would have known about the ICC then.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, physical therapy is a big one. What else?
Primary care,
but I'm missing one.
Behavioral health?
Nope, it wasn't behavioral health. Weight loss,
y'all.
Weight loss. Okay. A lot of us are struggling in this pandemic. I'm not going to stunt. Okay. I am. But they are giving weight loss help. They are able to help you guys with goals that you can set. A lot of this is over the phone, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All of it is.
So all of it is over the phone.
I think the podiatry services might be, you can go into the office. But the other thing about this too is that care and services change based on the needs of the community. If you come out and you look at these services and y'all come out as a group and you say, we need this. Like, for example, the Latinx community will come out and say, this is a great service, but I need somebody that speaks my language. That's perfectly okay to say.
Yes.
We all have to get used to doing that and saying, I see the services that you have out there, but they don't really apply to me. So I'm going to fill out this feedback form, or I'm going to say what I need to say. And the next time you get a grant, you need to include in that grant that we should get these types of services.
Yes.
That's how it works. And we're starting with Black women. We're going to go to Black men. We're going to go to Black youth. But right now, we're starting with Black women. And we want you to say, what do I need? Do I need behavioral health services? Do I need podiatry? This is for women of all ages, right? Think about your grandmother. Think about your aunt. Think about your sisters. Think about your cousins. Think about the people. You might be super liberated.
Absolutely.
You might be super free. I went past Planned Parenthood, and there were protesters out there. We are a liberated family. And I'm going to tell you what, if my sisters wanted to go to Planned Parenthood for whatever reason, guess what? They got me to go with them to elbow out the protesters so they could get what they need to get done. But everybody doesn't have that.
Right.
Reach out to your sisters. Reach out to your aunts, to your grandma, and say, would things be different if you had, podiatry services or behavioral health services or physical therapy?
Absolutely.
Take advantage of these resources and tell us what you want. Yeah. If you tell us what you want, the North Chicago Think Tank is going to do everything in its power to get it for you.
And as local leaders in the community, and people that are really, really invested and super, super passionate about change, Billy and I are extremely, extremely passionate about changing systems, changing the conditional thoughts, changing the way we think, changing our mindsets. Like, it's so important in this day that, we really, really become the power that we possess. Like, we come from royalty. We are royalty. We are kings and queens, but we have to start walking it. We have to start talking it. We have to start believing it. It is something that we have to believe within our own right, in our own self, that yes, I am royalty. So therefore, I need to carry myself as royalty. I need to move as royalty. I need to be able to speak with authority. I need to be able to, speak with demand. That's okay.
Yeah.
We got to stop acting like, oh, they're going to look at us like we crazy because, that's how they label Black women, because we pop and we roll and we, got our hand on our hips and we, snapping our neck. No, it comes a point where you need to be assertive when it comes to what it is that you need. Matter of factly, that I have authority to ask questions of the doctors. I have authority when they are talking to you in that medical terminology. You have authority to say, hold on, I don't understand. Can you please break that down to me in layman's terms? Oftentimes we go to the doctor and the doctor just telling us what they're wanting to tell us, and we're leaving out of the doctor's office thoroughly confused. Can't even go back to your loved ones and say, this is what he said that I have or that I need to do to take care of myself. You go home and you don't even know how to explain it.
And that's, I want to be very clear with everybody that the North Chicago Think Tank is, y'all see me out here all the time, but you have to know that there are 4 amazing Black women at the helm of the North Chicago Think Tank. They have their families and they have their businesses going on, so they're very busy. But you have to know that they are the guiders of this work. And the work that we did with the ICC outreach is that when we were developing the posters and all of the content for it, it had to go through Black women and have them say, that still don't make no sense to me. That still sounds too complicated. People not really gonna vibe with that. You got to say it like this. You got to say it like that. We'd love to have more focus groups where we could get Black women together in a safe space where they can talk about what they want from healthcare or express some of the concerns or frustrations they've had with healthcare. And we could pass that along to students who are going to be doctors. I really want you guys to understand that this is such a powerful position that you're in right now, because Rosalind Franklin University is literally creating doctors for the future. Yes. And you can talk to them and say, don't take that's what's in the past into the future with you.
Yes.
You cannot talk to people like this. You cannot do people like this. You have to treat us this way. Mm-hmm. And I really want you guys to take that opportunity. It starts with the ICC. You can go to Rosalind Franklin and you can talk to these young doctors who will be making decisions in the future. They will be operating on people on tables. Absolutely. They will be, heads of hospitals.
Yes.
And wouldn't you feel some sort of pride to know that you helped mold them to give services to Black women in a way that really reflects what y'all deserve?
Absolutely. So this was just, we wanted to, come on and really just share some things that we felt like women needed to know. As Billy said, he's not, mansplaining or doing anything like that. He just wants to see the best for his sisters. Like he wants us to understand that, we are royalty. If mama ain't right, ain't nobody right. Real talk. Like, if granny ain't right, ain't nobody right. If auntie ain't right, ain't nobody right. Like, we are, the heads of being. Like, we give life. Yeah. So we have to know, the power that we possess, because I'm gonna tell you, like, I can easily say, when I go down, my whole house go down. Okay. Until I'm back up, then things start moving around the way that they need to move. So it is extremely important for us to take care of ourselves, and also to, just be empowered, that we can definitely ask for what it is that we want. So I want to thank you, Billy. Do you have anything to add lastly?
Please follow the North Chicago Think Tank on Facebook. Go to our website, www.northchicagothinktank.org, so you can learn about our mission, you can learn about our pillars, and you can learn about our goals. I want y'all to reach out to me. Y'all see we're super transparent. I'm releasing this information every single day. Mm-hmm. You guys saw there were over $9 million invested in COVID-related healthcare services for Lake County. Please look at the organizations that got that money. Press them, ask them, what did you do?
Where's the
money?
How
are you helping us?
Where did it go?
For those of us, we know that Black people are resistant to take the vaccination. So what services are available for them through that COVID funding? Start asking these questions. But it's warm outside. I personally am vaccinated, so y'all gonna see me out in North Chicago. It's time for me to put my money where my mouth is and get out here. So I hope when y'all see me out in the streets of North Chicago, Waukegan or Zion, you support us.
Absolutely. And again, we have a lot of community leaders that are coming together, really trying to brainstorm and come up with a plan of action to really move around in our communities and ignite change. If we got to light fire on some behinds, guess what? That is what we're going to do, because it is time out for the lack of resources. Mm-hmm. It is time out for, people utilizing our services as volunteers and not giving us the quality jobs that we are qualified for. Mm-hmm. And just, kind of just putting us on the back burner. It's time for us to really, walk in what we can.
And what we know.
And what we know.
What we know to be true.
And if you don't know, listen, y'all get with the North Chicago Think Tank.
Come on
up here to Radical Radio. I do want to say we just left the swearing in of the new mayor of Waukegan, who is a woman, the first ever woman elected to be mayor of Waukegan, Miss Ann Taylor. I want to say congratulations to her. And I truly, truly pray that you will really do Waukegan good. I pray that you will do Waukegan good. Hey, that's all we got for y'all tonight. I appreciate you guys for coming on and rocking with Radical Radio. You guys can find us on all media platforms. Also want to wish my mother and both of my mothers a happy Mother's Day. I love you guys. Thank you for putting up with me and my crazy ways and turning me into this phenomenal woman that you have turned me into. My aunties, everybody, happy Mother's Day. You guys enjoy Mother's Day weekend. Also want you guys to know that I do have a sale going on, www.radicallife.com. Everything is 10% off up until May 8th for Mother's Day. So you can use the code if you look on my page on Facebook, or if you go to radicallife.com, the code is right there on the page that is for Radical Eyewear and Accessories. So go ahead and shop Radical. You'll be glad that you did. I have some dope items on there and more to come. So please shop Radical. Also, look, I'm just going to use this time to plug some things Radical, okay? I am currently accepting new clients for Radical Life Coaching. It has been amazing thus far, being a life coach, being a spiritual life coach. If you are looking to operate in your purpose and walk unapologetically bold and purposely authentic, please contact me. I would love to be your coach. I would love to help you reach the potential that God has called you to. So yeah, go ahead and you can go on my website for information. Again, that's www.radicallife.com. I have some new merch coming. Y'all better listen. Some new merch is on the way. That's why we're going ahead. We're going to, get it cracking this summer. Y'all got to get y'all shades. It's time for them radical shades. Yeah. So y'all go ahead and check me out on the website. I love you guys. I thank you guys for rocking with Radical Radio yet another Monday. And I do have to tell y'all, this is the wrapping of season 1 of Radical Radio, the podcast. So we are wrapping up season 1. This is our last show for a little bit. We will be playing replays. So y'all come on and check out the replays. As I said, you can still check us out on all podcast platforms. We are on 14 different podcast platforms. So please make sure that you catch the replays. If you cannot catch us live, we're also on YouTube. Go and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't know. It's like pulling some bear's teeth to get people to go and subscribe. So don't make me beg y'all. Like, I don't want to beg. So please go ahead and go to the YouTube channel and subscribe and like and check us out. I love you guys. Again, we have an awesome commercial. Someone has an amazing book, and we're going to go ahead and leave you guys right now.
Hey dreamers, in this life, nothing is promised to be perfect, but with a little hard work and support, we can make it all worth it. Hi, I'm Maxie, owner of Eleanor Maxwell. We're a business support company specializing in admin support for businesses, show production, events, and more. And guess what? I just self-published my first book, All My Broken Crayons Still Color, available now on Amazon. So, Eleanor Maxwell, follow, like, subscribe, all social media platforms. Let us help you blow through whatever it is you're going through.
Y'all heard what the super producer says. She says, let her help you glow through what you're going through. Glow. That means glow, like this glow I got right here. She's going to help you glow through what you're going through. So go ahead and get your copy now on Amazon.com. All My Broken Crayons Still Color. Author, self-published author, that is Maxie Norman, Maxi. Norman, okay, in regular form, Norman. And she is the super producer of Radical Radio and Paint and Release. And if you want to get on this train, go ahead and hit her up. She is the owner and founder of Eleanor Maxwell. It is a small business administrative company. I've been trying to send people her way. So if you have a small business and you are in need of someone to handle your emails, your phone calls, contracts, anything, the girl got you. So don't say that I ain't never put you on Don't say that, because I'm putting you on right now. If you need some help, I got some people for you. You already see Billy. He in the helping business. We got Maxie in the helping business. We getting to it. So I love y'all. I will see y'all for season 2. We will have some amazing new things coming forward on Radical Radio. So y'all just stay tuned. Keep rocking with us and go like all them pages. Love y'all. Peace.